Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Mbah, has alleged that Biafra activist Simon Ekpa is a murderer, scammer, and common criminal, feeding fat on the emotions and sufferings of the Igbos. He enjoined the people of the southeast region to disregard his threats and sit-at-home orders. Mbah also expressed displeasure over Ekpa's continued harboring by the government of Finland, even when many lives and properties had been wasted by his foot soldiers. The governor spoke at the weekend when he received members of the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence, who were on an oversight working visit to the state, where they also inspected the construction of the Department of State Services Training Institute at Agwu. He said the import of security underscored his administration's decision to end illegal sit-at-home hitherto enforced by non-state actors that held the people hostage, both psychologically and economically, noting, however, that his government was not leaving anything to chance. Mbah assured the people of Enugu State of their continued protection, saying the state could not be intimidated by criminals. He urged the House of Representatives to take up the challenge of ensuring Ekpa's repatriation to Nigeria to answer his acts of murder and terrorism in the southeast region. He said, as you may have also noticed recently, they have continued to make attempts, particularly that megalomaniac who ironically resides with his family peacefully in Finland, a country where the rule of law reigns, but he encourages the rule of anarchy here and to goad some of our youths to their self-destruction. This is also a business for him, pretending to be fighting for Igbo's interest, but does not know anything about the Igbo or have their interest at heart. He continued to say, he creates some kind of siege atmosphere and thrives on it to make a living, continuing to extort and exploit our people, who may not be aware, and telling them that he is fighting for their interest. He's just a common criminal. We are talking about a murderer who thinks about how to inflict terrorism on the people. Otherwise, how can you claim you love your people, a people that are known for hard work in their DNA, and sit somewhere to dictate to them when to go to work and when not to go to work? So I want to also take this opportunity to call on our people to disregard this threat. We have demonstrated our capacity to provide security for our people, and we will continue to do so through the help of our security agencies. Zoe, what is your take on this?
Well, the governor is either looking for attention or he does not understand the situation with regards to the Southeast issues. Playing to the gallery by calling out Ekpa names and characterizing me as a terrorist doesn't make sense at this point in time. After all, the politicians have created a platform and circumstances that have led some of these young people to go the direction they are today. And if you want to solve problem, okay, any person at this point in time who comes out to say he's fighting for the Igbos should be given some level of, I'm not saying legitimacy if it is violent, because the state does not allow violence. But if he has a voice and is making a point, is raising issues in the cause of his violence, I think the leaders, especially public office holders in the Southeast, should be able to listen to these people. The path he has taken will only aggravate the issues, because there are so many of the Igbos that believe in the cause of these people, because the state has failed them, because their governments in their own states have failed them, because their political leaders have failed them. And so they have taken a path that is anti-societal norms. So for us to make progress is not to come out and characterize. This young man is not doing what the Boko Harams are doing in the Northeast. He's calling out his people to say, look, we are marginalized. Look, when you push a people to the world, when they return, anything can happen. And that is what is happening in the Southeast. So for a governor, he should be able to look for better ways to handle this issue than to come out to characterize this set of people as terrorists. He's not doing it. Will not help. It will not help his cause, except he's looking for political relevance. It will not help his cause. There should be a forum. There should be a forum where the politicians themselves should take responsibility first. The Southeast politicians.
He's not talking about Nnamdi Kanu. He's talking about Simon Ekpa.
Yeah,
they are two different.
Yes, they are all fallout of the failed system. Whatever way you look at it.
Are you aware of some of the activities of Simon Ekpa himself?
I am very much aware, which are not in line with what the norms, which are against the Constitution. Quite agree with you. But these are fallout of the failed system. So when we are talking about, we should look at an holistic way of solving this problem and not to just pick somebody and say this person is a terrorist. I am not speaking in favor or in support of what Simon Ekpa is doing. Not at all. But for us to have solution to these problems, we should look at it from a holistic point of view. Nothing, accepting the responsibility that the state have failed. That is what created these opportunities. So what do we do from here? How do we reorganize ourselves? How do we put things together so that we can curtail? It's only when you have done your part, you cannot say, okay, this person is doing what is wrong. But when you have failed on your part and you're pointing fingers to others, I don't subscribe to that. And I don't think the governor is taking the right step by characterizing this way, because it will not solve the problem, because there are people who followed these people or this particular person.
Right. We'll still get back to some of the concerns you raised, but then let me hear from George.
Okay, I think the primary responsibility of the government is the protection of lives and property. And it is on that premise that the governor is speaking the way he's speaking, calling Simon Ekpa a criminal and all of that. I understand his position. But like my brother here rightly stated, it is the lack, the deprivation, and all whatnot that the Nigerian government and its officials have meted to the citizens that has led some people into doing what they were doing, what they are doing today. So for me, I would have suggested, political solution to resolving this issue that has appeared intractable for a long time now. Instead of, inflaming or stoking the fire, why not call for a political solution? Let's resolve this matter. What is the issue? As much as, like I said, the primary position or responsibility of the government is to protect life and property. No governor, no president will sit idly and see his state gone. The oath of allegiance and oath of office, he will never for anything give that away for anybody, even if the person is, the symbol of it. He will make sure he protect that. But this thing has lingered for too long and is affecting the Southeast economy. It's affecting the Nigerian economy. People are dying every day. How do we resolve this? For me, I would suggest the politicals. I have been saying it. I was on air here in your studio, and I said it some time ago when somebody paid Buhari visit, asking him for help to reach out to President Tinubu and all of that. Political solution, including Nnamdi Kanu, not just Simon Ekpa who has not been repatriated, who is in Finland, ordering his boys to do one or two. Call for a dialogue. Let's sit down on a round table and discuss. It's a give and take thing. You shift ground, I shift ground, we'll come to a compromise somewhere. And you see that this whole thing will become history. That is how I'm looking at it. For too long, we have tried the legal system on how to resolving this matter because Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated. It has not worked. The boys continue to do what they are doing. How can a region, a whole region, would declare one full day, sit at home? The economy will be grounded.
Not completely. Just one full day. It's so they sit at home sometimes extends to weeks. They sit at home. So
you can usually what the people
yes, are sometimes it will extend to 2 weeks, sometimes it will extend to 1 week. Initially it started with, okay, Nnamdi Kanu will go to court today, so everybody will sit at home in solidarity.
Okay.
Now,
and they saw that it works.
From there, they now started extending
progress,
it,
yes.
Right, and from there, at some point, it was clear that it was just flexing power. The fact that probably was enjoying the fact that I can ground all the southeastern states for a week, and that includes no school. You can't access hospital. You can't come outside. There was a time the governor of Anambra State said people should go to work. I mean, schools should open, markets. These boys entered the streets and the market and shot some persons. In Imo State, for example, markets has been burnt. People have been killed. Now, this has exacerbated to a point that IPOB is different. But now, they have ESN. Imo State, for example. They have Umuoma. And then Governor Ozodinma now has his own people, Ebube Dike or something. Ebubago. Now, what's going on in Imo State is Umuoma kills Ebubago kills Umuoma. ESN is part of it. Now, nobody is even talking about IPOB. Now, it's a tug of war and who are suffering? The people are suffering, right? It has even affected business outside Imo State, because people traveling, you would agree
come
with
down
me,
to the state,
people coming from the east,
and also goods move to other side of the
go through Asaba, through Ihiala,
regions of the country,
go through Imo State before you can continue with your journey. Now, on days like that, you cannot travel. You see how it has affected the economy of the state, of these southeastern states, how it has affected education, how it has affected health. People have died in their homes because they could not access medical care facilities because of sit at home. Now the question is, because Governor Peter Mbah, regardless, has made a very salient point. The question is, if you so care about your people, if you're saying you're fighting for them in their interest, why punish them?
Choma, okay. Let me say something.
Okay.
Choma, what Peter Mbah is doing, the governor, like I said, is just to protect the oath he has taken, the oath of allegiance to the state and oath of office as the chief executive of the state, you know, the security officer of the state, to ensure that there's security. But even if you repatriate Simon Ekpa,
it doesn't end the problem.
And today,
another Simon Ekpa will emerge.
He just said something that's happening down there. Different groups have taken advantage of the situation and begin to perpetrate criminality. Would that solve the problem?
It won't.
The only thing that government listens to is violence. Without violence, government will not listen. It happened here in Niger Delta. People try to do some peaceful protest, but when that armed struggle of 2003 happened,
they responded.
They responded immediately. Unfortunately, we are still back to where we are. But the truth about the matter is that the government listened. So for me, one of the ways to resolving this thing is, you know, a political solution, calling for meeting. Okay, can we even set up like we have Northeast Development, whatever, Niger Delta Development? Can we even have something for Southeast that will rebuild some of those areas that have been
destroyed? There's something, the SEDC
these are some of the things that the government can give us, you know, that will, you know, ameliorate some of the challenges. And if Simon Ekpa continues to do, and the government need to fish out the criminals.
Yes.
Remember,
from these people. Genuine. Yes.
Genuine agitators. Yes. There are criminals. Government need to use the instrumentality of force to fish out those criminals and deal with them according to the law. Then the genuine agitators, you call them and see how you can set up something to pacify the people. If the people say we have been marginalized for some time, other regions have at least 6 or 7 states. Our regions have 5. And here they are trying to create one. You know, National Assembly is working on creating one state.
There are so many bills right now for Southeast.
So what I'm saying, that these are some things that will, you know, pacify the people, so that, you know, the people will feel that sense of belonging, you know, as part of the Nigerian Federation, instead of calling for repatriation. Because if you
address the agitation,
it doesn't stop the Bubinechaga, whatever you call them, those criminals who are there.
Speaking of political solution, very quickly, speaking of political solution, you would agree with me that there have been calls from different quarters, you know, speaking to the president to use his good office to consider political situation with regards to the case of Nnamdi Kanu and by extension the agitation of the IPOB. Now, the question would be, from the body language of the presidency, do you see political solution happening? Now, Sunday Igboho, immediately the president became the president of the Republic of Nigeria. Sunday Igboho came back to Nigeria. There was a political solution to his matter, as well as the Mieti Allah president, who was in prison facing charges of terrorism, as it were. He was also discharged and acquitted. You know, I can go on to mention other cases of political solution that have been offered to people. Why is Nnamdi Kanu's case different?
Well, Shoma, I agree with my colleague first and foremost that, in fact, political solution is the only way now, because so many solutions have been tried. Legal, remember there was a time they have moved the Nigerian military into the south, and all those things did not work. Okay, so again, there's something you need to understand with regards to Samuel. You know, non-state actors usually does not use conventional means in pursuing their ideology. So that is why you could see.
You mean Simon Ekpa?
Yes,
okay,
not that's non. Sorry, it's as non-state actors. They usually do not use conventional means, and that is why their actions are always, you know, there is a reaction from the government. Like he said, that is what government listing. Now, coming to political solution, I don't know. With regards to the Igbo people and the Nigerian state, some of us have some reservation that we don't know if we say they may not be popular, you know, in the public. But I think the Nigerian states have not treated the Igbo region or people as a people. The Nigerian state have not been fair to this set of people. And that's why the issue of political solution. And is the Nigerian state ready to give political solution to this problem?
Do you think so? That's the question.
As far as the Igbo, yes. As far as the Igbo people are concerned, imagine the last election. You know, an opportunity. I felt that was an opportunity to reincorporate, to reassure, to bring back the Igbo people back to the mainstream of the Nigerian state. By giving an opportunity to fly tickets, you see how they were frustrated in parties, political parties. At the end of the day, this is where we are. Now, if you can release people in other regions who are also doing things like this, like the Western region people are doing, why do you stop these people? So these are the questions. The Nigerian state should be able to have an open mind, and that's what democracy, you know, give room for. Open mind. Every person, any person from any region can become whatever, and the time of that person will complete, and then we'll not judge that person based on his performance. So we should look at and have an open mind for the Igbo issue, for the Igbo crisis, and come up to a introduce a political solution. Call these people to a round table, and that also begins with the political leaders in the southeast. It's not just going to be the federal government. The Southeast political leaders, those who are holding political offices, should also show that commitment that they are ready to stand for their people. They are ready to speak for their people. And when they go to Abuja to that round table, they should be interested in their people and not their interest. Not when something is brought to the table to say, take and leave that and then forget about the people. That is the way we should go. Political solution is possible if the Nigerian state is willing.
All right. But in your opinion, like I asked, do you think the Nigerian state is willing? Have you seen through the body language?
No. To be frank with you, we have not seen that in the body language, because several attempts have been made. Some leaders in the Igbo have also visited the presidency, they have visited the former president, and we have not seen a corresponding response, you know, to those meetings or those calls. So as it were now, the Nigerian state is not, the body language of the Nigerian state is not showing that, but that is the way to go. We should have an open mind. We should treat these people and also in the project of Nigeria. The Igbo people, I believe, are willing, very willing to participate in the Nigerian project and contribute their quota. And that would be the Nigerian state recognizing them and treating them as citizens of this country.